Drugs. See your girl in the park. System overload.
This is Sean O'Malley. You're watching Full-Time MMA. Don't be a bagel biting, bagel bitch boy, bagel bitch back.
What's going on, Full-Time family? It's time to start the show. It is Friday, August 31st, and I got some good news, and I got some good news. So let's start off with the motherfucking good news. The good news is, I got work today. Got some work. That's always good. And the other good news is, we still got plenty of time to talk about not only UFC 228 that's going down tomorrow, but also a lot of the news and the current events that have been going on in the MMA media over the last 24 hours. So let's motherfucking get it started. We're starting the show a little early because we've been starting to, you get the point. So with that being said, give the Full-Time family just a little bit more time to get in here, and of course plug our UFC Yankovic as we try to get this to 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't yet, if you ain't doing shit, do your boy a favor, type in UFC Yankovic or just click it on the channel and hit subscribe. Link is in the description. Get that to 1,000 subs and I'll be a happy man. But with that being said, of course, we're going to start the show off. Darren Till versus Tyron Woodley is tomorrow, so we got to start the show off the right way. Motherfucking Fifi, Darren Till versus Tyron Woodley. You guys ready to start the show? Let's go. Oh, speaking of, before we get into this, what about Eminem's new album? This ain't even hip-hop, but did y'all expect that shit? Some of y'all don't even know about that. Motherfucking the GOAT, Eminem, dropped a new album. A surprise album. No one knew it was coming overnight. Got back to his roots. Motherfucking old school Eminem. It's a great day to be a motherfucking MMA fan. And I guess a UFC Yankovic fan. Let's start this over.
Darren Till's a bit fat, he can't make weight, and he's probably fucking racist, so I have to cave his face in. I'ma beat this motherfucker, he shouldn't even be in front of me. Got pushed up to the top, he want my spot, so now he's gonna meet a beast. I'm the chosen one, I hit like a loaded gun. That right when I throw you done. One strike and he's on the run, and I'm coming for you. Yeah, I'm coming for you, booger eating motherfucker. You can put roids in your boogers, but you still couldn't beat me, cause I'm one of the greatest and you can't see me like Stevie. And yeah, I'm coming for greatness. If they won't try me, come test me. And that's for Nick and Nate, Diaz, Kobe, you're even GSP, because I'm ready. And don't come in heavy, little bitch.
It's Tyron
I don't really want no friends.
I don't care about my fucking family.
I don't really want no friends, no. I said I don't want no friends.
Tyron.
I said I don't want no fucking friends. Tyron, why you crying? Long as I make weight, we're finding. We will fight this weekend. We will find if I'm as weak as you say. But I do say if I win, then no excuses. No 30% bullshit like your boy Kamaru Usman. You're the champ right now, but we both know that I'm the future. Gorilla Smash 2018, Booger Bash 2018, it's the movement. UFC 228, let's do it.
Alright, family, what the fuck are we talking about? It's the motherfucking D-O-double-G. We got 11 people watching, 10 thumbs up. That's great. Everybody clearly finished their bagels before we got in here. James Medina says, smoke weed every day. MMA. Fuck you talking about? Let's go, Full-Time family. Should we run the Conor McGregor versus Khabib? Are y'all ready to talk some MMA? 13 people watching. I know the answer. UFC Yankovic, don't fuck around. Let's go.
Is this
Conor McGregor versus Khabib. UFC Yankovic. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet. Treyway shit.
They call me Conor McGregor, there's no one better. I'ma fuck Khabib up, then go rematch for money, Mayweather. If this dog shit Dagestani thinks he can stand with me, I'll damage him and leave him panicking. Let Russia know I am the king, I don't like you, won't even pretend to try to. I've waited this long to fight you, you shouldn't have fucked with my crew. You ambush Artem Lobov in the hotel lobby, so we winning called gang. Now I'm coked up off of Molly, now I'm coming to the stage. So I think that you should probably stay the fuck up out my way. Somebody get me a dolly.
React to Black Thought's 10-minute freestyle. I'm gonna have to try. I ain't even seen his 10-minute freestyle yet, but I have to do that on another channel. Fear of copyright issues. We already got shut down on our other channels. We can't go live. But yo.
Yo, Conor McGregor, what the fuck is wrong with you? Come here, let me smash you like chicken, just let me humble you. You take all these drugs, but you won't take home a W. If we fight in UFC or if we fight with guns and crews. No, let me stop it, you don't want me to take it there. If you want, you can take a bear, send location, and I'll be there.
Alright, it's time to start the show, full-time family. I don't know who wrote those, I don't know who thought of those. UFC Yankovic, whoever that guy is, he's clearly a god amongst men, so make sure you go subscribe to his channel if you haven't yet. We got 15 people watching, that's plenty enough to start the show. Bada Jr., Black Thoughts 10-minute freestyle. I have to check that out, probably at work today or something. Webs PK Vids has just subbed on the Yankovic Day 797 sub. Let's motherfucking go. Bada Jr. says, shout out to Yankovic. Why is it called Yankovic though? Weird Al Yankovic, UFC Yankovic. See what I did there? Let's motherfucking go, dog. He said it's the best freestyle of all time. Oh snaps, I'm gonna have to check that out. Kenshiro Reeves says full-time rap game up from all this MMA talk. He said up from all this MMA talk. Yeah, man, we got some MMA talk, but we do that every day. We got to make it unique. You know how it goes. So we're going to get into this MMA talk, starting, of course, with Free Nick Diaz, who is actually cleared of all of his charges and looking forward to his UFC return. He released a statement, and the case was dismissed. For those of you that aren't caught up to speed, he was dealing with the crazy stalker chick. There was videos that came out of her just sounding crazy, talking about how he only doesn't want me in the club because it's hard for him to get pussy. He can't get any pussy if I'm in the club. Just looking crazy. I mean, talking about at one point like channeling his fame into her music career. She seemed really crazy, but I've said this in the past and I'll say it again. There's no law that says you can hit crazy bitches. Now, she turned out to seem to be the physical aggressor, even though that wasn't the original case. It seemed because when the cops showed up, she had the injuries, Nick Diaz was unharmed, and they were like, oh, that means you did everything because she had the injuries. Now, it turns out she threw like a fucking metal glass at his head first and then was trying to attack him, and he might have been trying to restrain her, and she said throw him in the pool. Crazy situation, you get the deal. Either way, the judge saw it in favor of Nick Diaz. She saw through the crazy stalker bitch trying to channel his fame and ruin his shit because some of the videos that came out, it showed, and this is what was said. We are grateful that the district attorney's office was fair and thoughtful in reviewing this case based on the evidence and making the decision to dismiss this matter, particularly in the light of the grand jury's decision finding probable cause was lacking. They called him lacking, dog. But Goodman continued to say in a statement, I believe this might have been Diaz's attorney, throughout this ordeal, the alleged victim has given multiple inconsistent versions of what occurred and recently testified before the grand jury to a third version. Further, the medical records made clear that the alleged victim did not suffer any fractures, subluxation, dislocation, soft tissue damage, or any substantial body injuries expected from such allegations. The video she posted prior to this incident clearly shows someone who's motivated by revenge because Nick was seeing other women. Truth delayed is better than no truth at all, and I trust that the ultimate dismissal of all charges with prejudice will be viewed as total vindication for Nick and clears his name from being associated with such horrific but false allegations. Now, as it probably will for Nick Diaz, honestly, because people really, he's somebody that people like, right? But we've seen this in the past where, just the charges come up and people are already guilty in the court of public opinion. Just because he was free here or cleared here, there's going to be people that say, oh, she didn't show up, he paid her off, or whatever. People are going to, still speculate. We see that with Greg Hardy. I mean, you can't mention Greg Hardy without talking about domestic abuse. And actually, the chick didn't show up in the final stage to where he would have been charged with the crimes or convicted. So he technically got off, but people still are like, yeah, but you fucked up. So good thing for Nick Diaz, though. Not only is he cleared in this situation, but he's also looking for a UFC return. It's been a while. Maybe he will be. We got Anderson Silva coming back, GSP talking about coming back. Shoot, Nick Diaz is a name that can even fight for a title at any weight class. No, but on a serious note, he could fight for a title being a big name in the sport. We see Brock Lesnar coming back and fighting for a fucking title, and we see it all the time. We saw GSP come back and fight for a title, so why not? If you're a bigger name, you might get those opportunities. And Nick Diaz is one of those. He's also already fought Anderson Silva, GSP, BJ Penn. I mean, his last 4 fights before he kind of went inactive, he was fighting the best of the best. So Nick Diaz could come back, and also recently he called out Daniel Cormier for as heavy as heavyweight. Now, I know that's not going to happen in the UFC. We're not having fucking open weight Grand Prix anymore where it's just any man, any weight class come in and throw down. The UFC has weight classes now, so I don't see Nick Diaz fighting heavyweight. But recently he did come out and say, yo, DC, fuck Dick Chest Brock Lesnar. You fought Anderson Silva a different way than I did. You had to lay on him. Fuck that. I'll fight you at any weight class. Fight me for the title instead of Brock Lesnar. So Nick Diaz has seemed open to potentially even fighting at a higher weight class for a title. Fought at middleweight in the past, welterweight. There's a lot of options for Nick Diaz now that he's cleared of this domestic battery case. But either way, even though Nick Diaz is cleared and this is good news, he still needs to be careful, of course, because we after this situation, we even saw like his coach, can't think of his name off the top of my head. I think the Gracie coach that they're fucking, who was it? I don't know, it might not have been Gracie. One of their older guys that they look up to in their camp. I think it was fucking. Let me pull it up. Somebody they reached out to Nick Diaz and they were like, "Yo, Nick Diaz, part Gracie Baja." I don't remember who it was, man. Exactly. Like it might have just been like the gym's Twitter handle, but somebody close to Nick Diaz reached out and was like, "Yo, Nick Diaz." I'm not about to look that shit up. I don't even know what to Google. I probably could, but I'm not gonna do it right here on the spot. I'll just give you the gist of it because we're almost done with this topic. But they're essentially saying Nick Diaz chill from the club scene, and alcohol and drugs are not good for anybody, and if you're trying to get your shit together, pretty much leave that stuff alone. So with that being said, you know, Nick Diaz, as far as the party scene is concerned, if he's actually looking forward to his UFC return, might need to step away a little bit. I mean, if you follow Nick Diaz on social media, you see he's always, and he's probably getting paid for it to show up at these appearances, but he's always somewhere, you know what I'm saying, hanging out at a club or partying somewhere and just doing his thing. But like I said, these days he's probably getting paid for appearances, so it's hard to just say he's a fucking party animal out here. But with that being said, the good news is Nick Diaz is cleared. We're going to move on from this topic, but I had to make sure I covered it, let everyone know Nick Diaz was cleared, because we all definitely made sure to cover it when Nick Diaz had the alleged incident with this crazy chick. So good news for Nick Diaz and for UFC fans if he'll come back. We're still waiting on Nick and Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is scheduled to fight Dustin Poirier. Nick Diaz got this situation handled. Like I said, Anderson Silva, GSP's back. Any title fight, Nick Diaz has a lot of options, so we'll see what happens. Troll Buster said, "What's up, my dogs?" We got 21 people watching. When you're done biting your bagels, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. Bada Jr. says, Khabib smashes McGregor. Poirier outboxes Diaz. Pettis makes Kukui do the chicken dance. You think so? That's got a few bold predictions in there from Bada Jr. Forward says, Booger Bash 2018, Gorilla Smash 2 2018. Let's motherfucking go. UFC 228 tomorrow. What's good, mods? Bada Jr. in the motherfucking building. What's going on, everybody? I see Forward in here. Troll Buster, it's a motherfucking family affair. Now, we're not going to go too crazy on this topic either because it's so fucking cringeworthy. I mean, I like the Sage Northcutt fight, but either way, we're talking about Logan Paul in the UFC. I just want to fucking slap myself. MMA Buds in the motherfucking building. I have never hated Sage more than this call out. Yeah, I know a lot of people, it's just so cringeworthy. Like, what the fuck? And honestly, I'm going to be 100% with you. I don't think this was Sage. I think he's got a manager. Somebody's got access to his Twitter handle. And I say that because fucking they said, like, let me know when you want to catch these hands. It has begun. It just really seems so out of character for Sage Northcutt. It doesn't seem like something he would say. Let me know when you want to catch these hands. Like, what was he hanging out with Tyron again and fucking let him tweet for him, or what's going on? You know, that just doesn't sound like Sage. But it's a good move. I forget who it was. Maybe Forward. I want to get it wrong. Someone in the full-time family. They were like, this Sage Northcutt call out, I hate it. But whenever I saw the Twitter follower discrepancy, Logan Paul has like 4 million Twitter followers and Sage Northcutt has like 87,000. So regardless of whether they're actually going to fight or not, it's kind of a good move because it's going to get your following up. And actually, they probably share a lot of the same fucking fans if you think about it. Both of them like blonde hair, blue-eyed fucking white dudes. Like, there's a lot of Logan Paul fans that would probably love Sage Northcutt if they knew he was a UFC fighter, looking like a fucking real life Super Saiyan Logan Paul fighting in the UFC. So they actually could share a lot of the same fans. So it's a great business move by Sage. The fact that Logan Paul responded is great for him because he's got so many people, you know. And so with that being said, also Logan Paul has a background in wrestling. Yo, chill. No, but yeah, I don't like the idea of Logan Paul in the UFC. Neither does Darren Till, actually. Shoot, Darren Till came out and bashed Logan Paul for his UFC aspirations and said, "Fuck off! Don't embarrass our sport." He said every day is hard as fuck. Every day is a little more harder on your physical and mental state. Then you got a cunt coming along like this YouTuber fella, thinking he can mix it in the UFC. Fuck off, will you, mate? And don't embarrass our sport. Now, Logan Paul, excuse Darren Till, he's cutting weight right now. He's in the thick of it. He's a little irritated. Anything he says on Twitter is probably gonna be a little toxic at this point because he's having to make this fucking heavy ass weight cut. And we all know it's not easy for Darren Till getting down to 170 as big as he is. He's done it in the past, but he's also had trouble in the past. Hopefully there's no emergencies, but hell, you would think we need to focus on that weight cut. A little less on Logan Paul, but at the same time, you can't be cutting weight 24 hours in a day. So, Darren Till, man, speaking out against Logan Paul potentially coming to the UFC. But hey, man, CM Punk, Brock Lesnar's coming back. It is what it is. This is a motherfucking business, and also, popularity sells. It's not all just a popularity contest because you actually have to be able to fight some of the times. But CM Punk's now had 2 fights. Brock Lesnar's getting his title shot, and I still don't think Logan Paul will ever come to the UFC. My thing is, what's up with like celebrity MMA? I'm not taking this shit serious for 1 minute. Logan Paul versus Sage Northcutt. I think it's a great call out by Sage. Maybe his manager advised him because it's a good move. I think it's a great call out in that aspect. Build your, clout chase a little bit off of Logan Paul. He wants to mention the UFC. Fuck this dude. Catch these hands. Let me know. You know what I'm saying? Clout chasing a little bit, but I'm not taking Logan Paul to the UFC seriously. But celebrity MMA, I want to see. I mean, Wiz Khalifa, Snoop Dogg. There's a lot of people that have actually been getting into MMA training, even just showing an interest in MMA. We saw the celebrity investors in the UFC. Now Kevin Hart and a few, Tony Robbins, a few other celebrities have came out and invested in the PFL. And just outside looking in, there's honestly not a lot of people who really know what the fuck's going on in the PFL, especially celebrities. You think Kevin Hart's watching the fucking PFL? No, he's watching the UFC and just seeing the potential in this MMA business. And he's like, yo, what else is popping off over in the MMA world? Bellator, okay, they're already good. They don't look like they're selling stocks. But PFL, what? You're saying they're the seat league? I'll invest. There's a lot of people that are, bro, and we haven't even got on ESPN yet. We still got about 3 months before we're even on ESPN, and we're going to be in that much more people's houses as far as MMA is concerned. So MMA is just continually on the rise, regardless of what the numbers have looked like in the TV ratings. There's just more and more people that are becoming aware. I know a lot of people already know about the UFC, but a lot more people are becoming more accepting. I feel like day by day, the more Logan Paul, I don't know, there's just a lot of stuff going on with MMA, and even if the numbers are crazy, I really feel like MMA is on the up and up, especially on the verge of this ESPN deal, these other leagues coming up, Bellator fucking blossoming, even though they're already the B League. They're just getting better and better by the day. More and more respect for Bellator, and you even see these investors in this $1 million tournament going on in the PFL, not to mention fucking Invicta doing their thug dizzle, and then my boy MMA Buds will tell you about 10 other MMA organizations that are all out there doing their thing as well. So great time to be an MMA fan, despite this Logan Paul versus Sage Northcutt nonsense, because yeah, it's almost embarrassing, but at the same time, it's fun. It's fun, fucking low. And think about how boxers felt. How long has celebrity boxing been going on? We're just kind of taking it personal because he's talking about the UFC, and we know he doesn't have a chance. But if Logan Paul would have fucking boxed a boxer, he wouldn't have had a chance. You know, it's not. Celebrity boxing, it's kind of like the same thing, but that's been going on for a long time now, so people are more open to celebrities getting in there and fucking boxing. But that's making a mockery of boxing the same way that Logan Paul versus CM Punk and some celebrity fucking octagon would make a mockery of our sport, but at the same time it's going to bring attention, and also a lot of fucking little 12 and 13-year-old motherfuckers that follow like Logan Paul or whoever else does, they're going to tune into the sport, and they're going to grow with the sport like a lot of us did. So either way, it's going to be interesting to see if he actually fights a UFC fight. Kyle Lawrence in the building says, shout out to full-time MMA. No, shout out to you, Kyle Lawrence. Appreciate it, brother. John Doe says, what up, Bada? Dropping a chunk of live resin for everyone now. Hit one for me, John Doe. Hashtag Sober 2018. MMA Bud says ratings are down. Let's bring him in, make money off of his murder versus a Diaz bro, or go fuck yourself. You know what I'm saying? Hey, honestly, fucking CM Punk, I know he lost his 2 UFC fights, but he fought fucking fighters. CM Punk would beat fucking Logan Paul's ass. I'm telling you right now, CM Punk would beat Logan Paul's ass. I know you got a background in wrestling, bro, but it's not enough. You haven't been wrestling long enough. You stopped wrestling probably in high school, and since then you've been on fucking YouTube going to Suicide Forest and all type of shit, not wrestling, not kickboxing, not training. Meanwhile, CM Punk's been over at Duke Rufus, regardless of whether or not he's on the level of a professional fighter. He could beat the fuck out of a Logan Paul character just with the 3-4 years of training he had from Duke Rufus, even if he still looks like shit. What do you think Logan Paul would look like in an MMA fight? I'm talking jiu-jitsu included, not just maybe take you down once. What about the stand-up? What are you talking about? Probably fuck this kid up, man. But with that being said, we got 32 people watching. Do your boy a favor, hit thumbs up. Next week, we're going to have a Nightbot in here. I'm going to try and get that added and just some more cool stuff. Of course, always improving, ever improving. We only got about 45 minutes before I got to get out of here and head to work, though, for the day. A few more things to talk about, so let's move off of this Logan Paul stage Northcutt nonsense. But still, we got to, before we do, let me know when you want to catch these hands. From Sage Northcutt. I load when I saw that. Like, what? Did Sage just say, let me know when you want to catch these hands? That's crazy. But we got some somewhat breaking news. We actually reported on this a long time ago, and I told you guys I was still pretty confident. Even though they were taking it back, Junior Dos Santos versus Tuivasa is set to headline UFC Adelaide. Tuivasa teased this on his Twitter maybe last month even. Like, he teased it a while ago, and then they kind of had, it was a little too early for the announcement. Tuivasa posted on his Instagram, and then people were like, no, it's not official, chill. And then they started talking about, like, Tuivasa versus Tabora and shit like that. But now we actually got the deal done. Junior Dos Santos versus Tuivasa set to headline UFC Adelaide in Australia. Hometown main event for Tuivasa, motherfucking shoey extraordinaire. Be dope to see if Tyson Pedro can get on there. You know, they're podcasting partners and best friends, and it's in Adelaide, so I'm sure that would be a good place for that duo to return. We've got Ben Wynn on the card taking on Wilson Hayes. Kai Kara France versus Askin Mokhtarian. This dude looking like that Khal Drogo from Game of Thrones and shit, but a flyweight version. We got the flyweight Khal Drogo on the card. Light heavyweight Paul Craig versus Jim Crute. Okay. UFC Adelaide just got a banger for the main event. Let's motherfucking go. Crikey. Tuivasa might be getting a knockout. Although he fought Andrei Arlovsky, pretty close decision, and Junior Dos Santos actually cleared by USADA, came back, got a big win over Blagoy Ivanov. So, Junior Dos Santos coming off a win. Tuivasa as well, a little less decisive though. Tough matchup for Tuivasa, but he's also got some motherfucking heavy hands and some power in them things. And if one of them lands, Junior Dos Santos might be taking a canvas snap. But he's experienced, former champion. Junior Dos Santos not all the way out of the game quite yet. Got flagged by USADA when he was supposed to fight Francis Ngannou. Got completely fucked over there. That's one of those situations where you almost are like, why the fuck aren't these dudes suing USADA? Because it was a loss of wages, fucking tarnished his character, damaged his character. Made JDS look like a juice head. He lost his Francis fight. He couldn't fight for how long because they had him fucking flagged by USADA. Come to find out, he and a few other people are innocent, so he can't get the Francis fight back. And oh, by the way, this was when Francis was still on top, not after his last 2 performances that were snoozers and he got exposed, you could say. But this is when Francis was still knocking out Alistair Overeem to the fucking next level, like Mortal Kombat. Whoopsie! That type of shit. Francis Ngannou was still looking like a monster. Now, with that being said, JDS being a former champion, what if he could have got out of the first round with Francis Ngannou? What if he could have been the one to fucking expose Francis and steal all of that hype? Nope, sorry, USADA said you were dirty, even though you weren't. So he got fucked over there, but now he's back, got a big win. He's putting it behind him, and he's taking on another headlining fight with UFC Adelaide. MMA Buds was timed out by Forward. What was MMA Buds saying? That's Dan from Oregon. JDS wrecks him. I didn't even see what he said. Normally, like all those bros in the club, I'm just trying to see why MMA Buds got timed out. I'm not exactly sure why, because usually he's not saying anything crazy. Forward. What's going on there, OG? No, a real fighter, he doesn't get to come to the UFC and fight Punk, a Diaz bro, or go fuck yourself. Hey, why did my boy get timed out there? My forward. Holy shit, was it an accident or something? I don't know why you got timed out, MMA Buds. I don't see anything crazy. You said forward. Chill, chill. Pocket ban, what did he say? Chill on the bands. Chill on the bands. If he's not advertising another channel or something, if he's just speaking his mind on MMA, don't be banning everybody like that. It ain't that serious. If he's just even talking trash, saying go fuck yourself to something, he ain't got to ban him. But from the things I saw, oh, pocket ban. Your phone was in your pocket. I thought you were saying you just like banned him for like a second, like a little pocket of time. Yeah, MMA Buzz, that was a pocket ban from forward. So yeah, 300 seconds. My bad, Triple OG. I saw that. I was like, what? MMA Buzz he ain't tripping. That's my motherfucking dog. But yeah, so JDS versus Tuivasa set to headline UFC Adelaide. That's going to be a big fight for Tuivasa if he can win. But JDS might be here to steal the thunder. We'll see what happens. Man, that's going to be a fun fight because Tuivasa, he can definitely knock dudes out, undefeated, up-and-coming, knockout artist headlining in his hometown, but he's taking on the former champ. Yo! What a motherfucking fight. That's actually a great main event. Let's go. MMA Addict said, bruh, chat was unavailable for me for a minute. Thought I was banned or some shit. What up? What's going on, MMA Addict? We got 40 people watching. When you're done biting your bagels, do me a favor. Don't be a baby back bagel biting bitch boy. Hit the thumbs up button for your boy Big Full Time, and we'll move on. Curtis Blaydes says he doesn't consider Juicehead Brock Lesnar a legitimate MMA fighter. Here's my question. Who's more legitimate? CM Punk, Logan Paul, or Brock Lesnar? I think we're all choosing Brock Lesnar, but you still get what he's saying. I mean, he's coming off of the steroid suspension. He's a WWE guy. He's not someone that really dedicates his whole life into the sport of MMA training. And maybe Brock does take some motherfucking jiu-jitsu classes on every day that we don't know about, but I don't see it. I don't think Brock Lesnar's really sharpening up his jiu-jitsu and working and earning this black belt in the meantime. He's probably got a Coors Light or whatever the fuck, doing his own thing. You know what I'm saying? So Curtis Blaydes sounding off. This is a guy that's potentially getting skipped over by Brock Lesnar. Curtis Blaydes coming off of a big win over Alistair Overeem, third round KO, TKO. Before that, a pretty dominant or decisive, I won't say dominant, a decisive win over Mark Hunt with like 10 takedowns. He could very well be fighting for the title next. But Brock Lesnar's back, bitches. And yeah, we know he was spending. And yeah, we know he beat Mark Hunt and the win was overturned. And yeah, we know he shouldn't probably be fighting for a title, but he is. And so, of course, Curtis Blaydes, one of the guys getting skipped over, you could imagine, has some shit to say about that. But Curtis Blaydes does have a big fight coming up, a rematch with Francis Ngannou, headlining UFC Shanghai on some Godzilla shit. I mean, Curtis Blaydes, Francis Ngannou, Shanghai. I'm just thinking of fucking Godzilla versus King Kong. I don't know why. I'm not racist. It's just going to my motherfucking head. You tell me why, motherfucker. But either way, it's a rematch for Curtis Blaydes of a fight that he lost the first time. But it's a very winnable fight at this point. Curtis Blaydes got the better cardio. Now that we've seen Francis Ngannou, like, if Curtis Blaydes decided to just not get knocked out and even just let the fight go to the third round, honestly, you got your chances. The longer the fight goes, your chances of beating Francis Ngannou improve dramatically. Now, with that being said, Francis actually beat Curtis Blaydes in their first fight in the second round. And actually, I'm going to pull this up for you guys because it's kind of surprising. I want to go back and watch it. Not only did Francis Ngannou beat Curtis Blaydes in the second round, Curtis Blaydes actually had 2 takedowns in that fight. So with that being said, you're like, Francis actually got taken down and made it to the second round and he wasn't completely fucking exhausted? What's going on there? You know what I'm saying? It's like he had better cardio in his UFC debut than in his fucking heavyweight title fight because he made it to the second round and actually won the fight. So let's go to the heavyweight rankings real quick and pull up Curtis Blaydes or Francis Ngannou. Curtis Blaydes down here, it was his UFC debut. He lost his UFC debut right here to Francis Ngannou. And Francis Ngannou, oh yeah, see Curtis Blaydes, it was a second round doctor stoppage TKO. Curtis Blaydes had 2 takedowns, and Francis made it to the second round and actually won the fight in Curtis Blaydes' debut. So, we saw Francis was able to beat Curtis Blaydes in the second round. I mean, but as of right now, you would be thinking, okay, if Curtis Blaydes makes it to the second round, Francis is done, right? But looking at that first fight, maybe you reconsider that just a little bit. But as far as his thoughts on Brock Lesnar, let's get into what Curtis Blaydes had to say if it's transcribed. He said, no chance, none whatsoever, Blaydes of Lesnar defeating Cormier. I don't even view Brock as a legitimate MMA fighter. He was juiced to the gills when he fought in the early mid-2000s, so I don't respect juice heads. I still feel disrespected that Brock Lesnar gets to jump in out of the blue. He's not even ranked. He's not even officially on the roster, and he gets to have a title fight scheduled, and he hasn't even proven himself. So, yeah, that's what makes me feel disrespected. We're all adults. They want money. I get it. They want money. I'm not money yet, so it is what it is. He said, this is the UFC, so you never know. I may have to fight one more time. I may have to fight 2 more times. Who knows? I used to think about that, like my trajectory and who's next and what's next. But all it does is you end up feeling disappointed and disrespected when it doesn't happen. And I don't want to be walking around feeling like I'm disrespected. So I don't have any expectations for after this fight besides winning. I don't have any expectations for what's next. I love that view from Curtis Blaydes, because he said, I don't want to walk around feeling disrespected. And if you're paying attention to who's getting the title shots and how the rankings are working and why this guy's ahead of you and why you're going to feel disrespected. And the truth is, 95% of the time, it's not personal. 95% of the time, it's not the UFC going, Curtis Blaydes, now we don't like him. We're not going to give him a shot. No, normally it's like, oh, there's 100,000 more fucking people that might buy the pay-per-view if this guy fights than this guy, so we're going with this guy. We saw that when it was Curtis Blaydes versus Alistair Overeem on the prelims to CM Punk. And Dana White was like, whenever Alistair Overeem sells, and this wasn't even Curtis Blaydes, Alistair Overeem was the bigger name in that fight. So whenever Alistair Overeem sells as many pay-per-views as CM Punk, please come back and talk to me. It's a business. It's not personal. That's really the story of the UFC. It's not personal. It's a business. Because if you really looked at it like Curtis Blaydes is saying, and like, how come I'm not getting a title shot right here? Why can't I fight that guy? Then you're going to feel disrespected. You'll probably take it personally. You'll probably start feeling like the UFC's racist, all type of shit. You know how that can spiral out of control. So either way, I like that from Curtis Blaydes. She's just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to take these fights. I'm going to build my brand up. Could I be fighting for a title? Hell yeah. Should Brock Lesnar be? Hell no. But what do you want me to do about it? What do you fucking do? Let's move on and fight motherfucking Francis Ngannou in Shanghai, motherfucking round and come out on top. So that'd be a big win for Curtis Blaydes, because if he won, they'd be 1-1. And who knows? Maybe we see a fucking trilogy in the future after they tear down Shanghai. Forward says, damn, MMA Bud still ain't returned. Feels bad. Damn, timed him out. It's been over 300 seconds. He's probably the second person to hit the thumbs down button after that. He probably said, fuck you guys, I'm going home. No, I'm just fucking around. 34 people watching, 25 thumbs up. Do your boy a favor when you're finished biting your bagels. Hit the thumbs up button. We're going to continue. We got about 3 more things to talk about before we break down UFC 228, and we got to go. Mike Perry vowing to give Donald Cerrone a beautiful death at UFC Denver. You know, Donald Cerrone talking about Jackson Wink being a puppy mill recently, and he's separating the whole split there. Cerrone possibly leaving Jackson Wink. Maybe Jackson Wink choosing Mike Perry, the new young buck, over the older veteran Cerrone, who's not in the gym all the time anymore, because he's got a motherfucking life. He's built a nice career for himself. He's got his own little BMF ranch, so when he's not at Jackson Wink, he might be at the ranch, and when he's not at either one, he might be skydiving. And when he's not skydiving, he might be deep-sea motherfucking diving. We don't know where Cowboy Cerrone's going to be at, but he's not always in the gym anymore. And so, the gym, who's still trying to get paid, of course, maybe wanting some new members. Mike Perry, fresh face, fan favorite. He's already got some fans behind him. I got to take that lightly when I say fan favorite. He's been dropping the N-bomb a whole lot, and I know a lot of people don't like that. I hate when people call him fucking racist, though. I'll say that. I get it. You don't like when Mike Perry says nigga. Me, personally, I don't give a fuck. He's my nigga. I'm serious. Like, I wouldn't give a fuck. I know a lot of people, though, you know, just the day and age we're in, especially with that word, even before it was the day and age of the social justice warrior, you kind of had to be careful saying the N-word. But that's just like any word. Of course, if you say the fucking N-word in the hood and it's a bunch of people who don't know you, they'll probably jump you. That's just on some fucking Wolfpack shit, some gang mentality shit, just people having you outnumbered. If you go in a fucking redneck bar and you don't know any of them, if you go in a biker bar and you don't know any of them and you say the word honky, guess what? You're probably getting your ass beat there too. Doesn't mean one word is worse than the other. It just means, yeah, if there's a bunch of people outnumbering you, they're probably going to fuck you up. That's all that is. It's not because of what words you said. So, with that being said, Mike Perry, far from racist. He's one of the people that give the most, and I'll just give you a quick example of how we can prove that. I just hate when people say that, oh, Mike Perry's racist because he says that word. No, you're racist when you fucking hate people because of the color of their skin. Mike Perry is one of the only welterweights honestly, that really gave Tyron Woodley his proper respect. Like, yo, I respect the champion. One day, yeah, I probably can't beat him right now, but I want to fight that dude. He's one of the actual fighters, one of the only fighters that's not coming out here calling Tyron Woodley boring, a bad champion, and all of this shit. And he's white, and he says the N-word. So if he was racist, why the fuck would he respect Tyron Woodley instead of just being one of the guys like, no, fuck that boring fighter. Remember, Tyron Woodley, you know, that's just not Mike Perry's style. He fucking chills with Felony Charles Bennett when he's in town and eats off of his plate. Racist white people are not eating fries off of a black person's plate. It's just not happening. So Mike Perry, he's not, everyone doesn't love Mike Perry. Some of us do. Some people love him. Some people hate him. But honestly, that's good for Mike Perry because it makes everyone watch him. It's actually a great personality to have. Some people hate you. Some people love you. It's not really good when it's just everyone loves you or just everyone hates you. I mean, that works too, but he's very polarizing, and that's good for a young star. Some people are going to tune in to see you fucking get KO'd. Some people are going to be tuning in to watch some of them brutal KOs Mike Perry can deliver as a knockout artist who's actually young and rounding out his game with Jackson Wink. Now he's taking on the Jackson Wink veteran, Cowboy Cerrone, and we got a whole fucking gym war going on. Shit's getting real. Shit's getting crazy. Mike Perry, the young up-and-comer, now looking to potentially take Cerrone's spot at the gym, the veteran who's been there over a decade. But surprisingly, the gym is actually back in Perry, and not just the trainers. You can see where they could be a little biased. Honestly, I'm not taking Cowboy or the trainer's side. I'd rather look at how the fighters react at the gym, because you can imagine they're biased. Cowboy Cerrone, if he feels some sort of way about Winklejohn, and Winklejohn's responding, because one of the things Winklejohn said that I don't agree with is like fucking, you know, Cowboy Cerrone's really to blame for a lot of our losses. If he would have been here training with these fighters, maybe we would have won those fights. Like, really, you're gonna fucking blame Cowboy for like a 16-fight losing streak? Fuck out of here. I'm not taking that. I'm not just listening to Winklejohn on that. And Cerrone, though, I mean, you gotta look at it. You see what he's saying, and I believe a lot of what Cerrone's saying. That's how he personally felt. But you got to look at it from the gym side too. Look, this dude's never here. He's always off somewhere else. He's not training with the gym. Meanwhile, we got Mike Perry interested in being a part of the team here, giving Diego Sanchez rounds, giving all of these young puppies at the puppy mill rounds, doing what he's got to do, being a part of the actual team. And so the coach felt like Cowboy was kind of causing division even before Perry came. Perry was just the straw that broke the camel's back. They was already on a losing streak before Mike Perry had anything to do with Winklejohn. But now shit's at a head because he's going to be fighting Cerrone. Now, one thing somebody brought up is this has happened in the past with Rashad Evans and John Jones. Rashad Evans was the former champion. He was the big dog on campus. John Jones came around and kind of pushed Rashad Evans out as the new young buck. So this could be a Winklejohn looking at it as like, this is a business. Yeah, Cerrone, we love you. We did our thing. You know, you got the BMF rent. You're very successful now. But we still got to pay these bills, these light bills. We need Mike Perry in here. So it's not personal. Not personal. It's business. It could be that as well. So either way, shit has already hit the fan. We could talk about who's right, who's wrong. We're not going to know. Two sides to every story, actually three when you count the truth. But Mike Perry, he's loving it. He's been taking to social media. I'm going to have to pull up his Twitter or his Instagram real fast. He's been taking to Instagram and looking like a motherfucking savage. I'm not going to lie. Some of the shit he's saying, I'm like, yo, he's ready to give someone a beautiful death, like he's saying. Watch this right here. Mike Perry, I don't know why, he just came across right here like a little loose, like a loose cannon, like the type you probably have to be a fucking knockout artist like Mike Perry. He came across like right here. I don't know. You guys know how who's the dude that plays Jack Sparrow? Motherfucker, you know who I'm talking about off the Pirates of the Caribbean? You know how he looks a little crazy sometimes? That's what Mike Perry looks like here.
I'm coming for you!
Raw in front of the whole world, motherfucker! You earned it! You earned it! You earned it. We all looking for that beautiful death out here. This little homeless man came into fucking JW earlier today. We ain't give it to him. He don't get it. He gotta go back.
He just came in the JW. He almost sounded like a hillbilly right there. Some homeless man came in the JW today. But no, man. So Mike Perry said he's looking to give Cowboy a beautiful death. But first, he's actually had something to say about Logan Paul as well. I respect Logan Paul because unlike all you tweeters, he got his ass in the ring and fought. He goes to the gym and works. He doesn't just talk shit. You damn right. Anybody, anytime, any place. Walking off the street and we're so good we can show anyone the light. He said, Jesus liked bums. He responded a little bit of Cerrone. He said, plus, I don't know why Cowboy Cerrone is acting like we ain't in this shit about money. He's oblivious because he's always had money. I'm a broke, hungry fucking lion, and I'm glad you didn't die in the scuba dive so I can kill you in the octagon. I'm going to give you that Spartan, beautiful death. So, Mike Perry not fucking around. I admit, I know there's a lot of people that don't like Mike Perry, like just some of the antics. Even in this Jackson Wink versus Cerrone side, honestly, I feel like Cowboy Cerrone kind of is coming out on top. Just because, for one, you know, Winklejohn was on the losing streak, and, you know, they're kind of painting it off on Cerrone in that most recent response. Also, there's a lot of people that don't like Perry, and John Jones, he's got his issues. So it's like Jackson Wink is really like almost the home of the misfits. Of course, they've got fighters that aren't misfits, Holly Holm, fucking John Dodson, and others, but they got John Jones, who some people don't really fuck with, Mike Perry, some people don't really fuck with, Jackson Wink, some people don't really fuck with, and Cowboy Cerrone, really everybody loves. So it's kind of like, I feel like Donald Cerrone is going to get the better end of this whole ordeal anyway, and you can kind of see that. And some people who are taking Cerrone's side, including former UFC bantamweight women's champion Miesha Tate, she says she thinks Jackson Wink's treatment of Cowboy Cerrone is not cool. This is what she had to say speaking with MMA Tonight on Sirius XM. She said, this is reminiscent. I feel like we've heard this story about this camp before when it was Rashad Evans and him feeling like he was pushed out of the spot with John Jones. What I think is not cool is if it had been someone that had been training there, like Carlos Condit, or someone like that who had been training there a long time, and they were going to come fight each other and both had that mutual respect and mutual foundation at the gym, that's different. But when the new guy's coming in and he's like, I want to fight Cowboy, and he comes to Cowboy's gym, I think that the right thing to do by the gym, I think there's some loyalty that should be towards Cowboy. He's been there a really, really long time, and that is true, what Miesha Tate's saying. But let's not forget what Diego Sanchez had to say, who's actually been at Jackson Wink probably longer than Cerrone for over a decade. And he said, listen, in my 10 years of being here at Jackson Wink, I can't remember one time Donald Cerrone has helped me prepare for a fight. You know, that's one of the things they've said about Cerrone. He's selfish as far as his camp is concerned. He'll come in there to train for his fight, but when it comes to really helping the other people at the gym and being a team, they say Cerrone's not really about that life, about the teamwork life. You know, he just kind of comes in, does his thing, and gets out of there. Probably got a motherfucking scuba class of 7. You know how it goes. So it's not just Winklejohn versus Cerrone. Like I said, Diego Sanchez came out. He's talking about Team Platinum Perry. He's taking the new guy's side as well. It's not just the coaches looking for the new prospect to get rid of the old guy because he doesn't have the same shelf life. The teammates are appreciating, at least in Diego Sanchez's case, they're appreciating the work and the looks Mike Perry's giving them. Hey, motherfucking Mike Perry's here every day, grinding with us, training with us, the puppies, the motherfuckers that got fights coming up, like Diego Sanchez, who's going to be fighting at UFC 228 this weekend. I'm sure he loves having that sparring partner with him and Mike Perry. And if Cerrone, he ain't got time, if Mike Perry wasn't there, who would Diego Sanchez be sparring with? You know what I'm saying? At least Mike Perry's giving him those rounds. So it's not just Jackson Wink, the coaches versus Cerrone. It's also the teammates, Diego Sanchez. And I think his word, I take Diego Sanchez's word a little more than I take Winklejohn's because, of course, he's clearly going to be biased. Diego Sanchez, someone that's been in the gym, I would like to hear from other fighters before you just take Diego Sanchez's side as well. You know, you want to hear all the sides. How does the other teammates at Jackson Wink feel about this whole situation? Because that's really what you're going to need to probably piece together the truth instead of just taking sides. Because like Miesha Tate says, yeah, Cowboy's been there for a really, really long time. But if, as Winklejohn and Diego Sanchez said, he's been causing division or he hasn't been helping other people out, does that mean we should just keep him here? You know what I'm saying? Cerrone, of course, is a great fighter, but if he's not being a great teammate, do you want him on your team? If he's got the BMF ranch, if he's taking some of your teammates to the BMF ranch, which makes it so there's a lot. Like I said, there's two sides. Instead of just jumping on Cerrone's side, that I think a lot of people are going to do because they don't like John Jones or because they don't like Winklejohn or because they don't like Mike Perry. There's two sides to this. But he continued to say, this is probably not. Oh yeah, that was the part where he was telling Cerrone it's probably not the camp for him because of the whole Mike Perry situation. But yeah, I see both sides of this story. Cowboy Cerrone, it is kind of fucked up being there for a long time and Not even just that, though. Not even just the part that he was there for a long time and the new guys getting this spot. The fact that Mike Perry's training with your coaches and teammates is the part that's like, what the fuck? You know, this dude's a dangerous fighter at welterweight. Platinum Perry. Now, Donald Cerrone's the more well-rounded fighter in my mind. If you're talking about more technical, well-rounded, all of that shit, you give the edge to Cerrone. But also, he's the smaller welterweight, taking on Mike Perry. And you got Mike Perry, you got Cowboy Cerrone's teammates now teaching Mike Perry, because now they're pissed off at Cerrone. Even if they were going to be just training partners originally, now they're going to be teaching Mike Perry how to beat Cerrone. Like, all right, Cerrone wants to fucking say all this shit about our gym and all about our coaches. Well, look, Cerrone doesn't like it when you do this. Boom, make sure you do this right when he does this. Cerrone has a tendency of doing this. They're going to be there to show Mike Perry's tendencies to, or Cowboy Cerrone's tendencies to Mike Perry now. So that makes it way more dangerous of a fight for Donald Cowboy Cerrone. That part's kind of fucked up there, because if they know his tendency is to fucking, you know, duck his head, kind of like, well, I'm not going to bring up Cerrone and John Jones, but, you know, Daniel Cormier had the tendency to duck his head. John Jones capitalized on that and kicked him in his fucking head and knocked him out. So if there's any tendencies like that that Perry can capitalize on, these are going to be the guys that can show him those. So crazy situation. Makes this fight even deeper than rap. Going to be going down at UFC Denver, the 25th anniversary card. So it's going to be a crazy fight. Mike Perry versus Donald Cowboy Cerrone for sure. But with that being said, we got 42 people watching, 29 thumbs up. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button when you're finished biting your bagels. It would be much appreciated. And hopefully we don't get any more pocket bans. John Doe says they edited the podcast, so I don't know if it's still there. Oh, with the Joe Rogan? Did anyone else catch Cowboy Dry Snitch on Jones Royd guy? No, I didn't. I just downloaded the podcast today to listen to it work, the audio version. But I did hear him. I'm glad you pointed that up. I mean, we're already fucking shadow banned. Let's talk about it. I did hear him say something about the wrestling coach, though, over at Winkle John. They said, our wrestling coach is a guy, or this is what Cowboy Cerrone said, the wrestling coach is a fucking guy who his best accolades are, he used to fucking train at like a high school or college gym wrestling coach, and he got busted peddling steroids to the kids. So that is a little suspect, just, outside looking in. So we got a potential alleged steroid peddler hanging out in the coaching section or in the wrestling, you know what I'm saying, at Jackson Wink. Guy, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of the John Jones, at least we can point to John Jones as far as, people have accused certain fighters at Jackson Wink of being on PEDs. I don't like when people do that shit if they haven't been busted, like Holly Holm and shit like that. But John Jones has actually been busted multiple times now, so that's fair. So I don't know if that's specifically who you're talking about. But yes, Cowboy Cerrone did reveal that there's a potential former steroid peddler in Jackson Wink. Maybe. Is that him? I don't know. But I did see that, if that's what you're talking about. It was like, oh, shit, is he fucking, I don't want to say snitching on the gym, but is he just fucking airing it out? What's going on here with Cerrone and at Jackson Wink? But yeah, man, before we break down UFC 228, we got about 15 more minutes before I got to get out of here. Tyron Woodley shutting down the Kamaru Usman talk again. It's Till or no fight at all. I think we get, a lot of us, if you're a Woodley hater, you probably haven't took the time to hear his explanation for this. But if you've just been unbiased, just listening, it makes sense what he's saying, honestly. He's saying, even if Till misses weight, I'm fighting Till. I'm not fighting Kamaru Usman just because Darren Till misses weight by 1 pound. My whole training camp has been specifically to fight this 6'4" striker. I've been studying him, breaking him down to a molecule to beat him. I like that from Tyron Woodley. The fact that he brings that film study aspect into MMA. You want to know your opponent's tendencies. You don't just want to say, like, if your opponent has a tendency to fucking lead or duck his head, like we saw John Jones capitalize on Daniel Cormier when he knocked him out. If your opponent has that tendency, wouldn't you want to know that? Wouldn't you want to break that down? Why would you just want to not have that advantage? Like, so I like people who do that, who actually break their opponents down on film. I think there's something to that. Now, with that being said, it doesn't leave you as open to anyone, anywhere, anytime, of course, because you're preparing for this one guy so you can beat this guy and win this prize. You're not just saying, yo, I'm ready for a fucking 5'8" best wrestler in the world or a 6-foot striker that's fucking a killer. That's just not very smart if you want to last. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, He said he will fight Till even if he misses weight. He just doesn't want to switch from a 6'4" striker to a 5'9" wrestler on 24 hours notice. He's like, instead, I'd rather kick an overweight Till's ass. And oh, by the way, you guys put Till in this situation. If you were worried about Till missing weight, you should have just scheduled Kamaru Usman to fight me in the fucking first place instead of this old last-second switcheroo bullshit. So I ain't mad at Woodley. I mean, he's got a tough fight ahead of him in Darren Till, and so I think Darren Till, honestly, he's focusing on making weight, especially, you know, coming into the biggest fight of his life, a title fight, coming off of missing weight. You could imagine he probably started dieting just a little bit earlier. But even if he does make weight this time, which I believe he'll do, Darren Till, is it going to affect his performance? It's going to be a fucking great fight, man. Tyron Woodley versus Darren Till. It's going down tomorrow. Booger Bash 2018. My boy Forbes said it's Gorilla Smash 2018. But let's look at the UFC 228 fight card before we actually get out of here. Of course, it's Woodley versus Till, headlining the card. Can't wait. That shit's going down tomorrow. Undefeated Darren Till, 17-0, taking on the chosen one, Tyron Woodley. Going to be a crazy main event. You got a potential champion slaughter. Potential. Nico Montano might knock out and submit Valentina all in the same fight. You know what I'm saying? If she gets lucky. No, this is a lucky chance, man. A lucky punch. That's what we're looking for in here. I don't think there's any way Nico Montano wins this fight via decision. She's got to get a finish in here. I mean, Nico Montano is just too skilled, too much experience. Even before, she's got 18 pro MMA fights, and even before that, she was fucking it up in Muay Thai. Nico Montano has 7 pro fights. You know what I'm saying? She's just not Valentina. This is Valentina's division. When this division was created, the minute this division was created, I envisioned Valentina Shevchenko as the champion. I'll take it one step further. The minute this division was created, I envisioned Valentina Shevchenko as the #1 pound-for-pound female fighter on the planet. And if you haven't heard my explanation, it's because Cyborg fights at 145. She's the queen there. Yes, she's the best. Amanda Nunes, 135. She's the queen there. Yes, she's the best. But that's one weight class. When you're talking about pound for pound, Valentina Shevchenko was easily the second best at 135. She had 2 close fights with the champion, the queen of 135, Amanda Nunes, and now she's actually making the weight cut to 125. Fuck out of here. She makes this weight cut, wins this title, and she has success. She could potentially be like the Joanna of this division. She could defend this title multiple times, unless she decides to go back up and vacate the belt just so her sister, Antonina, has a path to the title. Because I believe her sister, Antonina Shevchenko, is also fighting in this division. And Valentina Shevchenko, a lot of people felt like she won those fights with Nunes. Maybe if she wins this belt, she could potentially try and become the next champ. I think there's actually a lot more people than you would expect that would like to see a third fight between Nunes and Shevchenko, just because they want to see Shevchenko get that W. So maybe Valentina wins this belt, moves up on some champ shit. Maybe she loses. Yeah, fucking right. I'm just kidding. Of all these WMMA fights with big favorites, I think Shevchenko's probably the heaviest. And it's crazy because she's taking on the champion. But with that being said, yeah, man, not much to break down there. Let's go, Valentina. It's time for the motherfucking bullet to claim her throne. Darren, I boast about smashing in the division. I'm too big for it. Till says about a junior. Yeah, man, Darren Till's name really doesn't get brought up with the weight bullies of the world. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. I don't really... Weight bullies is a term, especially extreme weight cutting, but I don't know. Because if you're cutting too much weight, doesn't it affect your performance? Now, if you just decide to quit cutting weight because you don't want it to affect your performance and you come in 4 to 7 pounds over, maybe that's where the weight bully cut comes in. But if you're just somebody that's better at cutting weight than everyone else, you do it healthily, you do it to the point to where you're not, it's not affecting your performance, then hey, you're fair play to you. And that's a good, actually, way to transition into this fight. Jessica Andrade. She used to fight at 135. Now she's all the way down at 115. Fucking shit up. And some people feel like Andrade might be a little of a weight bully. But I can't think of... She usually comes in like 116. Of course, she doesn't have an easy time making the weight. And actually, she might be able to fight at 125 with her history at 135. But if you can make 115, I ain't mad at you. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing. That's how you can get that champ aspirations. Maybe Jessica Andrade, which is a very real possibility, can move up to 120... Or she can win the 115 belt. If she wins this fight, she's next in line for the title shot. Now, Jessica Andrade is already next in line for the title shot. The way she ragdolled one of the best grapplers, Claudia Gadelha, in the division. Then she beat Tisha Torres after that. She's the #1 contender. Regardless of what Rose said recently when she said she doesn't really see a clear-cut #1 contender, I don't know about that. To me, Jessica Andrade is it. If Rose Namajunas was 100% healthy today and Jessica Andrade was not fighting Carolina, Jessica gets the nod. Can't beat Joanna. She already fought twice. Jessica's beaten everyone else, and if she beats Carolina, she's really beat everybody else except Joanna. So if Jessica Andrade can beat Karolina Kowalkiewicz in this fight and get the next title shot, she doesn't have a terrible matchup against Rose Namajunas. It's not like a guaranteed win, but Jessica Andrade, a.k.a. Mini Cyborg, is a force to be reckoned with at strawweight, and so she could for sure challenge Rose for that belt. And if she did win the belt, she could move up to 125 and actually have some success. So keep your eye on Jessica Andrade. You know what I'm saying? Pause. I don't know why I had to pause that. Probably shouldn't have. But you get the point. Keep your eye on Jessica Andrade. She's got a lot of potential as far as she could become the next strawweight champion and potentially even have those champ aspirations. We'll see what happens. Tough fight for Carolina. She's actually the smallest underdog on the card. Like, the odds makers are giving Carolina a better chance in this fight than any of these other girls, like Esparza versus Suarez or even Nico Montano, the champion. So we'll see what happens. I'm taking Jessica Andrade, of course, in that fight, though. She's been looking great. There's a path to victory to beat Jessica. Got to have a solid jab and great footwork like we saw with Joanna Jędrzejczyk. If you can do that, you might be able to squeak out a win against Jessica. But if she gets her hands on you, good luck. She's kind of like fucking Khabib of strawweight. Like, you might be able to have some success standing with, but as soon as she gets her hands on you, you're going for a motherfucking ride. She slammed who was it she slammed? Was it Claudia Gaday she slammed multiple times? Like, pick her up, Suplex City type shit. Of course, we got Carla Esparza versus Tatiana Suarez. One of these fights is going to be on the Fox prelims. It's being replaced by Abdullah Razak Al Hassan and Nico Price. So they're actually going to be on the pay-per-view. But Carla Esparza versus Tatiana Suarez. This is the fight I'm looking at like, yo, I fuck with Tatiana Suarez. She's a great wrestler. Fucking great. She's been wrestling since she was like 3.5 years old, literally. Tatiana Suarez is probably the best wrestler in the strawweight division. Great fucking wrestling. Have I said that yet? But Carla Esparza is well-rounded, former strawweight champion, underrated as fuck. A lot of people feel like Carla Esparza is not that good, and they're fucking crazy. All of her losses since losing the title to Joanna were split decisions. I think she's only lost twice, and they were split decisions. She lost to Randa Marcos, so she beat Juliana Lima. First, she submitted Rose Namajunas. She beat Rose Namajunas back in 2014 pretty decisively to win the belt. So Carla Esparza already beat Rose Namajunas. And then she lost the title to Joanna. But after that, she's only lost 2 split decisions. Carla Esparza, and I feel this way, maybe I'm fucking wrong. I feel like she's on the wrong end. I don't know if she pissed off a matchmaker or somebody, but she does not get her just due. After she got robbed, in my opinion, against Carla Esparza, against Claudia Gadelha, I thought Carla Esparza won that fight, to be honest. And with that being said, after getting robbed in that fight, now she's got to take the best wrestler on in the division. It's like Carla Esparza's getting no fucking love here. She's like on the no-love list, because if she didn't lose those split decisions, she could be fighting Rose for the title next. She's already got a win over her, a third-round submission, so she could be getting her title back if not for this shitty split decision and now this matchmaking. Tatiana Suarez is a fucking tough opponent for anybody. But with that being said, in my mind, Carla Esparza, the Cookie Monster, is super underrated, and that's even shown by the odds makers here because Tatiana Suarez is 7-0. Carla Esparza almost 3 times as much professional fighting experience. Also, being that experience, of course, you got some jiu-jitsu. So, yeah, Tatiana Suarez is a monster. She can out-wrestle probably anyone in the division. But put some fucking respect on Carla Esparza's name. Since losing the belt, she's got a win over Rose Namajunas before that. She's only lost split decisions. If she got her hand raised in those, what is she, fucking 6-1 in the division? I mean, only losing to Joanna? So Carla Esparza very underrated, and she's like a 5 or 6-1 underdog in this fight. Huge underdog. I'm like, whoa, goddamn. All right. You know, she could very well lose this fight, but damn, fucking put some respect on Carla's name for sure. MMA Addict said, you need to show Uncle Dana some love. Maybe Carla Esparza got to... Let me chill. You know what I'm saying? Maybe. You know what I'm... She might need to... I'm not going to say that. I'm joking. I'll preface by saying I'm joking. Maybe she needs to fuck around with one of these matchmakers, you know what I'm saying? 1 time, 2 times. Dana White, somebody get on the private. I don't know. I'm just saying she's not getting no motherfucking love. 37 watching, 32 thumbs up. That's good to see. We're only going to be here for about 5-10 more minutes. Full-time family, got to get to work. But, of course, UFC 228 tomorrow. Can't wait. And, no, this fight's not going down. Yair Rodriguez versus Zabit Magomedsharipov. But Zabit is still on the card. He's taking on Brandon Davis. He fights out of Mississippi over there with Jason Knight and the boys. Super fun fighters over there. Probably going to get his ass kicked, but you ain't got to be scared to get your ass whooped. He's going to be coming to fight for sure. Brandon Davis. I mean, we saw that with Kyle Bochniak. Kyle Bochniak, yeah, he got beat by Zabit, but it was a great fight. It was a fun fight. Great performance from Kyle Bochniak. And so that could very well happen with this guy, Brandon Davis. He's well-rounded. He's probably not a Zabit. Like I said, he might get his ass whooped in this fight, but he's going to make it fun. He might talk a little trash in there, and he might have big moments. He was happy to take these fights at any given Sunday, and of course, anytime someone's training with Hick Diaz or Mississippi Mean, they're probably going to bring a pretty fun personality to the table. You know, being those Mississippi dudes seem to be pretty fun. At least that's the case with Jason Knight. He hasn't had the best UFC fights as of late. Jason Knight, I believe, coming off with another loss, but either way, Jason Knight's still a very fun fighter to watch. And Brandon Davis, 2-2 in the UFC. His teammate, going to be looking forward to see him taking on Zabit. And then, yeah, man, the rest of the card, of course, Aljamain Sterling, Cody Stamann, Charles Berg, Darren Stewart. Got some good fights, man. Abdul Razak Al Hassan versus Nico Price. Jimmy Rivera versus John Dodson. Put some respect on their name. Number 5 and 7th ranked bantamweights battling out way down here. I can't wait for this fight. One of my favorite fights of the night, actually. Jimmy Rivera taking John Dodson on a quick turnaround. Going to be interesting to see how he looks after getting knocked out in like 15 seconds by Marlon Moraes just like, what, a month and a half ago? Taking on the magician John Dodson. That's going to be a tough fight for a quick turnaround for El Terror, Jimmy Rivera. But yeah, man. And then, of course, the fight past prelims. Diego Sanchez not taking on Donald Cowboy Cerrone yet. Taking on Craig White. We'll see if Mike Perry can get Diego Sanchez ready for Craig White. I actually think Diego Sanchez might pull this one off, man. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But we got Alex White taking on Jim Miller, another veteran taking on a White. And I don't think any of these guys are related to Dana White, but it would be crazy. Irene Aldana versus Lucy Pudilova. That's a super close fight. I don't know how to call that fight. I don't know who to give. That's just a toss-up for me. Flip a coin. Whoever wins, wins. Ryan Benoit versus Roberto Sanchez. Jeff Neal versus Frank Camacho. So, yeah, man. With that being said, don't got much more time. I'm about to have to head off to work. I've been having car troubles, too, so I got to make sure I can fucking get my car started today. Couldn't get it done this morning, but we're going to try and get that taken care of so I'm at work on time. So, to Bader Jr., John Doe, motherfucking MMA Addict, everybody else that came through, Forward, MMA Buds, and everybody else, thank you guys for coming through to the live show. Much appreciated. With that being said, if you're listening on the replay or even now, before you forget, do your boy a favor. Hit the thumbs up button. Of course, we got the trolls. We got the haters. They be trying to flag us because you know how it goes, man. They see the potential. A lot of these dudes, you know what I'm saying? And so they're trying to hate. But you can't stop us with the shadow ban. None of that shit. None of that. We're going to be back Monday, every day, keeping the grind up. And, of course, Fight Companion tomorrow. Be there. Be square. UFC 228 Woodley versus Till. Ooh, cannot wait. Going crazy, full-time family. So make sure you tune into the Fight Companion. It is what it is, man. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. And we're going to get out of here with the song. But I'm motherfucking
This is
out.
Sean O'Malley, and you're watching Full-Time
Nope, not
MMA.
the intro. Not the intro. That's not what we're playing. That is not what we're playing. Where's McBeeb? All right, family. Now we are out. Shout out to Stockton Slaps.
Yeah, they wish and they wish and they wish and they wish and they wishing on me. It's Tony time, bitch, I don't care who's fucking with me. Staying away from tiramisu's a struggle for Khabib. You don't wanna fight, you wanna cuddle with me. My elbows are knives and I'ma cut you with these. I don't really give a fuck who's with me. If this fat fuck will make weights a big mystery. If you were smart, then you would probably pick me. To submit Habib at UFC 223. To submit Pettis at UFC 229. Tony time. Tony time. I knock out, sometimes I choke. I might be the lightweight GOAT. If my leg didn't get broke, would've probably beat Khabib. Then moved up and fought Woodley. Either wait for GSP. You don't wanna mess with me. Tony time. Tony time.